Throwback to the 20th of March 2022. I have now arrived at Canada Water Station. Different buses even today. I'm gonna walk because I like to exercise. Oh, actually, there is a Southwark Park here. I might go inside first because it looks quite pretty. And I remember in my vlog that I went to Southwark, I wasn't able to fly my drone because all the destinations I've been to doesn't have a park. But I really wanted to find out why Southwark is called Southwark. So I'm gonna fly my drone here. So Southwark was originally an Hindi name and it was called Southwark Garden. And it was recorded for the area in the 10th century Anglo-Saxon document known as the Burgle Heritage and means Fort of the Man of Surrey, or the defensive work of the Man of Surrey. Southwark is recorded in the 1086 Domesday Book as Suleika. The name means southern defensive work and is formed from the Old English of south and work. The southern location is in reference to the city of London to the north, Southwark being at the southern end of London Bridge. In Old English, Surrey means southern district or the man of the southern district. So the change from southern district work to the latter southern work may be an evolution based on the elimination of the single syllable element, meaning district. Oh, so that is why Southwark is called Southwark. And in the Roman times, Southwark is sited on a once slightly marshy area south of the River Thames. Recent excavation has revealed prehistoric activity, including evidence of early plowing, burial mounds, and ritual activity. Much of the district was in pre-Roman years, a series of tidal islands in the Thames, formalized into dishes such as the so-called river neckinger. It was at the lowest bridging point of the Thames in Roman Britain, providing a crossing from Londinium and for centuries had the only Thames bridge in the area, until a bridge was built upstream more than 10 miles to the west. This formed the best place to bridge the Thames, and the area became an important part of Londinium, owing its importance to its position as the endpoint of the Roman London Bridge. Two Roman roads, Dane Street and Watling Street, met at Southwark in what is now Borough High Street. So I'm gonna go to this side of the park. Wow, look at these wild daffodils. I took a photo here like this. And look at these wood spurge flowers. I'm gonna take a photo here. So I think this used to be the gallery, but I think the new entrance is over there. But I'm not gonna go to the gallery today because it's such a lovely day. So I'm gonna go to the lake. I think the lake is over there. There is also a cafe and toilet right beside the lake. Okay, so this is the lake. I think I'm gonna take a photo here. So I'm now gonna go to the Folstone Park, and then it's a circle. So, wow, there's some wild daffodils here, and also some Japanese fondle plants here. I'm gonna take a photo here. So I'm on the other side of the lake now, and this scenery is quite nice. I'm gonna take a photo here. So I'm now crossing over to the Tennis Bowls Club, Bandstand and Jamaica Road, which is over there. So there are some tennis lessons going on. I'm guessing this is the bandstand. So I was just reading from this sign and I learned that the reason why this bandstand is here is because people started to want to hear music in this park. So the government built this bandstand to invite musicians from all over the world to come and perform here. So every Saturday they would have music here. Wow, look at all these wildflowers. Oh my god, I almost missed this Ada Salter Garden. So this Ada Salter girl actually married Alfred Salter, and so Alfred Salter named this garden after her. And it was opened in 1936. But Ada Salter was too ill to attend the opening. Wow, look at the statue. I feel like I have to take off my mask to take photos now, because sometimes when I look back on my photos, I realize if I cut my hair, then I won't really be able to recognize myself in the photos. So I kind of want to take my mask off for photos now. Look at this artichoke thistle and this oleander. I think I'm gonna take a photo here, and I also feel like this would be a nice spot for music videos. So this is the entrance of the gallery, but I'm not gonna go in because I have loads of other destinations today. So I just checked the time when I came in, and it was like 9:45 a.m. and it's now 11:35 a.m. So I nearly spent 2 hours here. So I'm gonna walk to Deptford Park, and I have arrived. I feel like this park is definitely not as pretty as Southwark Park. I'm so glad I got off at Canada Water. Ooh, is that Deptford Station? And I'm going to find a place to fly my drone. Deptford took its name from a ford across the Ravensbourne near what is now Deptford Bridge, the DLR station, along the route of the Southwark Trackway, which was later paved by the Romans and developed into the Manor Walking Street. The modern name is a corruption of Deptford. Deptford was part of the pilgrimage route from London to Canterbury, used by the pilgrims in Chaucer's Canterbury Tales, and is mentioned in the prologue to the Reeves Tale. The fort developed into first a wooden, then a stone bridge, and in 1497 saw the Battle of Deptford Bridge, in which rebels from Cornwall, led by Michael and Gove, marched on London protesting against punitive taxes, but were soundly beaten by the king's forces. A second settlement, Deptford Strand, developed as a modest fishing village on the Thames until Henry VII used that site for a royal dock repairing, building and supplying ships, after which it grew in size and importance, shipbuilding remaining in operation until March 1869. There was a Trinity House that concerned with the safety of navigation around the British Isles. It was formed in Deptford in 1514, with its master being Thomas Burt, captain of the Mary Rose. It moved to Stepney in 1618. The name Trinity House derives from the Church of Holy Trinity and St. Clement, which adjoined the dockyard. Originally separated by market gardens and fields, the two areas merged over the years, with the docks becoming an important part of the Elizabethan exploration. Queen Elizabeth I visited the royal dock on 4 April 1581 to knight the adventurer Francis Drake, as well as for exploration. Deptford was important for trade. The Honourable East India Company had a yard in Deptford from 1607 until late in the 17th century. Later, 1825, taken over by the General Steam Navigation Company. It was also connected with the slave trade, John Hawkins using it as a base for his operations, and Olota Inquano, the slave, who became an important part of the abolition of the slave trade, was sold from one ship's captain to another. And I'm back at the entrance. There's nothing special about this park. So I just saw this ice cream van near Folkstone Gardens, and as I'm a bit hungry, I think I might get an Oreo cone and sit in the Folkstone Gardens. I think it's $2.50 for one ice cream cone. So this is my ice cream. Actually, I can't even remember the last time I've had ice creams. I think this is the Folkstone Gardens. So I was sitting down on this bench and I just finished my ice cream and I realized there is actually a cafe here. But when I went inside the cafe, it was quite full. Actually, I think I'm gonna fly my drone here because I feel like it would be really beautiful to take a photo here. Folkstone Gardens is a small urban park located in Deptford, southeast London, now part of the London Borough of Lewisham. It was created during the 1970s on an area badly damaged by bombs in World War II. The park was named after a street of railwaymen's houses that once stood on part of the site. The nearest bus stop is at Surrey Canal Road, opposite the park, and the closest transportation for London stations are at Surrey Quays, Canada Water, and New Cross. Folkstone Garden is a man-made urban park on a plot of land that was formerly high-density housing. On 7 March 1945, the area was badly damaged by a V-2 rocket, resulting in the loss of over 50 lives. In the late 1960s and early 70s, the area was cleared and the park was subsequently laid out over part of Folkstone Gardens and Orborough Road, an L-shaped street of terrace houses. The park is on a narrow plot of around 2.25 hectares. It is adjacent to Trindley's Road on the western side and Road Street to the south. To the north, it incorporates an area that was formerly the Grand Surrey Canal. Railway lines borders the northern and eastern boundaries of Folkstone Gardens. These include a viaduct of what was London and Greenwich Railway, the first railway in London, built specifically for passengers and the first to be elevated to the other side of the railway lines. And approximately 0.1 miles away is the much larger Deptford Park, which I went to. Ooh, look at all these flowers. Maybe I can lie down on here and take a photo. So I decided to eat at the cafe in the end because I was a bit hungry, so I thought I'd come in. And I ordered this slow roast Coke pork, and it was £6, so it's quite cheap. And I also got some water. Someone wrote a quote on there which is quite relatable. It says, "Sometimes I feel so happy, sometimes I feel so sad." Actually, I might take a photo. think I'm gonna go in to see if the church is open or not. So I think it's actually shut. So I want to find out why this church is here. Since there's a garden here, I am gonna find my job. So this Grade 1 listed building is designed by Thomas Archer and built between circa 1717 to circa 1730. It lies adjacent to the north of the site. The church is a good example of English Baroque architecture, and it is faced in Portland stone. The tower and curved Doric portico on its principal elevation face Deptford High Street. That's why I came here, because I was walking past it and I saw this beautiful church. So I was like, might as well go in. And then the building is surrounded by a wide stone terrace. The interior is richly detailed and features period joinery, monuments, Corinthian decoration, and a historic organ. The Grade 1 listed walls of St. Paul's Churchyard across Coffee Street are multi-period, comprising 18th century to modern elements. The gates and adjacent walls that face the site are fairly recent, and the setting to the south is not particularly sensitive. To the east of the churchyard are the Grade 2 listed walls of the former Baptist chapel. Parts of this wall run perpendicular to the boundary of the site, which only falls into the setting in views from the east. And that's all the history I have to tell, and now I'm gonna play a bit of my song, so hope you enjoy. So I've just walked around the whole of the garden, and it's basically like this. I just went inside to borrow the toilet, and I realized there is a board games place. Well, that's quite cool. This is called Tanuki Gaming. Oh, so this is the Deptford Market yard. It's literally like this. So they have some restaurants here as well. So I'm on my way to the Creekside Discovery Center, and look at this beautiful gravity. I think I'm gonna cross the road and take a photo. Oh wow, there's one here as well. These graffitis kind of remind me of Camden's Market, but Camden's are way more beautiful. Lol, this lane is called New Butt Lane. It made me laugh. Ooh, that is a cool graffiti. I wonder if it's best to take a photo here. Oh wow, look at this graffiti. The zebra is drinking the beer, and there's a, what's this called again? Kangaroo drinking a beer. I'm gonna take a photo here. My next destination was supposed to be this Creekside Discovery Center, but actually when I was walking here, Google already told me it's closed and it's open on Monday at 9 a.m. But if any of you guys are free on Monday and you want to come, feel free to come and take some photos and tag me on Instagram so I know what's inside. Oh, so this is the Broadway Field, but it's literally a field and it's next to the Deptford Park station. I think this is the Lewisham Art House. I'm gonna go inside to see what they offer. I just pressed the workshop button twice, but I don't think it's open, so I'm gonna go to my next destination. I saw on my map there is a friendly garden around here. I think it's literally just this. So, oh wait, on my list it says there is a phone booth book exchange. I think it is this one. Oh, so this is the friendly garden. Let me fly my drone here to find out why it's called the friendly garden. The park is an area which was known as Deptford New Town, and it was a boom town at the end of the 18th century because of its stockyards, shipbuilding, industry, and market gardening. Jonathan Lucas owned the majority of the land in this area and built his own home, Lucas Valley, alongside St. John's Church, which was built in 1855. The family had previously lived in Hatcham Grove House. Lucas wanted to create good living conditions for working class people. Unlike the haberdashers in Hatcham, he controlled the standards of the buildings. His villa became the Vicar Cage and today an industry school. Some houses were built in Albion Road in 1795, and between 1805 to 15, that new streets were created around the railway in Deptford, and the area became known as Deptford New Town. The lower section of the park between Oscar Street and Friendly Street, which I did walk past, is for dog walkers, and this is the peaceful area, so the area where I flew my drone, and it is clean and filled with large and beautiful trees. Brookmill Park. Wow, look at all these beautiful daffodils. Oh, so this is the river Ravensbourne. Oh wow, look at this park. This is the most beautiful photo spot. And then take a photo here. I walked for 34 minutes to Manor Garden. Oh my gosh, it's so open. That's why I didn't manage to fly my drone in Brookmill Park, because I realized this Manor Garden is closed at 6, so I have to speed walk here. Now I'm gonna fly my drone here. So there is a field and a children's park here. So this is the lake. Wow, the reflection is really pretty, especially with the sunset. Okay, it was worth the speed walk. I'm gonna try and use my throne to see if I can get the reflection. As you are viewing this reflection, I am going to be telling you a bit about this Manor House Gardens. Oh, also, I've captured this beautiful sunset, by the way. And the Manor House Garden is a 3.34 hectare public park and gardens situated in Lee in southeast London. The park features a flower garden, ornamental pond, fountain, ice house, cafeteria, children's playground, community garden, dog walking area, and tennis courts or multi-purpose sports pitches. There is also a park ranger's office and information point adjacent to the cafe. And the River Quaggy flows from east to west across the southern part of the park. The gardens date from the late 18th and early 19th centuries, and much of the original layout remains. The gardens feature a large central lawn with a peripheral path with trees and shrubbery. An ornamental pond at the southern part features a small island and fountain. The gardens are on the National Heritage List for England Parks and Gardens. This garden was formally laid out in 1773 after the main house that was built by Thomas Lucas. The house was then purchased by Sir Francis Baring in 1796 from Mrs. Angerson. Baring also bought the Manor of Lee, and the house was then known as the Manor House. The house and gardens remained within the Baring family until 1898, when Sir Thomas Baring, 1st Earl of Northbrook, sold the Manor House and estate to the London County Council for £8,835, almost £1 million as of 2015. The council noted that the property and grounds were in a somewhat neglected condition and began a restoration project. Restoration of the house and gardens were completed in 1902, and the gardens were opened to the general public on Monday, 19th May of 1902. The Manor House, now a Grade II listed building, became Lee Public Library. The gardens were a popular destination for locals, and during the Second World War, airing shelters were built within the grounds. In 1976, local residents set up the Lee Manor Society. The gardens were beginning to fall into decline as available budgets were being cut, with the dissolution of the Greater London Council. In 1986, the gardens were transferred to the London Borough of Lewisham. The following year, on 16 October, the gardens suffered extensive damage from the Great Storm of 1987, with many mature trees being toppled. By the early 1990s, the gardens and facilities were in serious decline, and areas were fenced off from the building. The lack of maintenance led to the areas of the park being overgrown, and the lake became uninhabitable for marine life. In 1993, to campaign for the garden's renovation, local residents formed the Manor House Gardens Users Group. The group spent the next few days campaigning for funds, and in 1997, they received a Heritage Lottery Fund award to renovate the gardens. The gardens and facilities were improved, and the gardens reopened in June 2000. And a new bridge over the Quaggy River was built in 2003. Oh my gosh, there's a swan there. Wow, look at these hyacinth flowers and that spurge and that, I think, Japanese cherry tree. So I'm back at the entrance now, and I probably should leave as the sky is getting dark now. The sunset time is actually 6:13 and it's around 6:30 right now. So if you enjoyed this vlog, don't forget to subscribe, like, share it with your friends, and let me know down in the comment section below if you actually ended up going to any of these places because of my vlog. And I'll see you all with another traveling vlog or music related video.